Market Day Report. It's a Thursday. It's a report day for USDA, and already we have the weekly export sales numbers. And then coming up at 12 noon, we get a crop production report and a World Ag Supply Demand Estimates WASDE report. It's a little easier to say. That comes up at 12. All right now we're up and trading. Corn market overnight was seeing some good action higher, and we're carrying some of that over, up a half penny on the new crop D's at 4.40 1/4. And again, soybean trade is moving higher as well. And that in spite of disappointing sales numbers for both corn and soybeans. Soybean sales, export sales, a marketing year low. Just over 61,000 metric tons. But new crop November at 10.33 3/4, up 4.5. Soy meal is now lower after having a higher trade in the overnight session. Soy oil, look at this. We're seeing now 49s August through December. Now, we haven't popped back into the 50 range, but remember, that's where we were when we had the big sell-off, that locked limit sell-off a few weeks ago. What about the wheat market? Well, let's look. Wheat, July, 5.33, penny and a quarter lower. Hard red is trading a penny and a half lower at 5.24 3/4. And spring wheat, D's, 6.5 higher, 6.51 1/4. Finally, cotton market is opening in the red, 67.34, down 31. Tommy Grisafi is with Nesvick Trading, and we're getting ready for that big report in a few hours.
Absolutely. Lot of price action overnight. I liked it. The July bean starting off lower due to ADM changing some bids there in central Illinois. And then we rallied all the way back, and we were up pretty good here this morning. Now, we do have that USDA report, all eyes on that, and we'll see what happens. Anytime one of those comes out, you have to take it serious. Could be an opportunity. Folks, if you have old crop grain, let's get some offers in this market. There's no doubt that the best time to sell grain was several months ago when corn was trading above 5, but the product has to move regardless if you like the price. Continued action in the outside markets, lot of things going on with different countries. So you're seeing that PPI came out this morning. We had CPI yesterday. A lot of outside data. We're really trying to digest. Do we have an inflation problem? Do we not? With that, you're seeing crude oil trade up on global stuff. So lots of things moving the market. They say there could be a nice little surprise Friday as we may finally get an announcement here that would very much affect soybean oil. So all eyes on that. It's definitely a whipsaw market. Some days you see it up big. And like you said, several times this year, we've seen soybean oil limit down, and canola very much affected by that too. So no shortage of information. But again, I said this a few days ago with you when I was on the show. I said, if you only look at the markets once a month, they're going nowhere when it comes to grains.
Well, and as cotton goes, it's going nowhere. Seems like it's stuck in that 67 to maybe 68.5 cent range, and it may move up, may move down, but at the end of the day, that cotton market hasn't moved more than 5% in either direction. And by the way, looking at where we were just 3 years ago, cotton down 55, but hang on, wheat's down 50% from where we were 3 years ago today. Soybeans down 35 and corn off 43. Let's see if we can find something positive to talk about. That's right around the corner. Livestock futures as Market Day Report continues in a moment. So earlier we were talking about the losses from where we were 3 years ago to today. For example, corn's off 43%, soybeans down 35% from where we were 3 years ago today. But from where we were 3 years ago today for live cattle, 70% higher. And we've seen gains of over 17% year to date. And we're higher today. June live cattle up 92, 228.75. Okay, here's the new one. I guess we'll have to check the Vegas odds on whether June live cattle hits 230 today. Could it happen? We'll find out in a moment with Tommy Grisafi. 218.40 on the August. It's trading 37 higher. And we are also just a little over a week away from a cattle on feed report. 311.47 on the August for feeders. That's up 20 cents higher on September at 311. That's a market up 81% from where we were 3 years ago. And this is important to remember. Though we've seen 27% gains here in the hog market, higher across the board with July at 109.12, this is a market that's down 4% from where we were 3 years ago. So just reminds us of the ebb and flow. Tommy Grisafi, Nesvick Trading, thoughts here on the proteins.
Well, you quoted up earlier in the first segment, this segment about where things were 3 years ago. And I had a good feeling when the Ukraine war happened and prices shot up that in years to come, they would equally shoot down. Now, that did happen in grains, but the effect in the beef sector continues to be positive. The cash markets are still on fire. We have had some pretty good sell-offs, whether it be based on a possible ice raid in packing plants or other information, but the cash market, which has led us up the whole way, continues to be firm. Big gap there between cash markets and the futures markets. This June futures contract starting to wind down. That's adult swim only as that thing ends, because you're gonna it still can be extremely volatile. But it's nothing to look down at your screen and see feeders up $4 or down $4. Continued volatility as we hit record highs. Tony, real quick, for as much as it seems like all the commodities are down, that's not true. There's some big bull market in the meats, big bull market in the metals. It's the grains that have the biggest problem. And I feel like that's what we talk about a lot on this show is corn, wheat, and beans. But some commodity markets absolutely on fire. Keep an eye on crude oil. I noticed crude oil's edged back up, and I thought we were going to drill a baby drill and have 250 gas. Looks like fuel's going up.
Well, and we've shot the gold numbers up there at 33.95. We're trading at the high end there. And to your point on crude, 67.37 after hitting 69.29 in the trade. We're a little lower on that July now. Tommy Grisafi's with Nesvick Trading. We'll see you again soon.